One, two, shit. 1, 2, 3. What's going on, everybody? Motorcycle Mouse back to you with another video. Just got off work. On my way home. That's cool. So, today's topic is going to be a friend of mine that I understand this is a hot button issue, especially right now, but this guy is a black friend of mine that I served with in the military. And since I've gotten out of the military, I've still kept up with him along with a lot of my other friends from the military on Facebook. Every single post this guy posts is just filled with hate. It's anti-white, anti-Christian, or anti-police. And that's pretty much all his posts are. And at one point in my life, this guy I would have considered a brother, but now, I mean, I still consider him a friend because I know something had to make him that way. But a lot of what I feel that it is the type of information he feeds himself with. Every post that he sees, I guess, he's gotten so biased in his post that everything that shows up on his news feed is just what I just said. It's either anti-police, anti-white, anti-Christian, so on and so forth. He's also a Muslim, by the way, so he's kind of anti-Christian. A lot of his posts, I'll argue with him, and I don't know why he hasn't deleted me yet because of the arguments that we've had. I guess just because of the friendship that was there at one point, I guess. But the whole black against whites and whites against black thing, in my mind, he's making it worse than it is. Yes, I understand there's some racists out there, there's some idiots out there, but at the same time, I don't think it's as bad as this guy makes out. He acts like everything that bad has happened to him in his life up to this point is because of some white guy trying to hold him down. And a lot of the information he feeds himself just reinforces that idea. Now, the problem with that is I have a lot of black friends. I work with a lot of black people. I've worked with a lot of black people in the military. I have a lot of black military friends. I had a neighbor that was black that she was really cool. Just none of them have came to this conclusion, at least not so openly that I know of, that they're filled with so much hate. So I don't know what it is about this guy that this has come up, but I thought that would be a good topic for today because there's no one arguing with me right now. I'm white. I'm obviously the majority here, and you know you can't interrupt me, so you cut the video off or you're forced to listen to my point of view, and then you can bash me in the comments if that's the way you choose to go about this. But basically what happens is he'll get on and like everything he posts, like I said a million times, is just a lot of anti-white. And what he'll do is he'll find like where some idiot racist did something stupid and then label it all of us. Well, in some of our arguments that we've had with each other, I've told him, look, you can't be like that, blah, 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 blah. You're biased. You're feeding yourself with hate. And his excuse is, I'm just being fair and putting the other side of the view out there. Well, that's not true at all because that's the only side of the view he puts out there. And if you say something, him and a few of his friends will just attack you on his comments. That being said, I understand something made him that way. Now, it could have been because he's forced himself this information over time and it's a very biased view, but whatever it may be. But my point is, if you're one of those people, if you're saying that, like the Confederate flag thing here recently, hang on. If you're saying that the Confederate flag is racist, 99.9% of the people saying that the Confederate flag is racist right now didn't give two shits about that Confederate flag 2 months ago, before all this popped off. They didn't know, they didn't care. all the Confederate flag meant was Southern pride. That's what it means to me. That's what it means to 99.99% of people in the South. Yeah, there's some freaking idiot, redneck racists around here that will just so happen to have it in the back of their truck while they're yelling the N-word or whatever it may be. Okay, yeah, there's some idiots out there. But that doesn't make that flag mean that. It just means that to those people. That'd be like these people that are walking on the American flag saying that the American flag represents injustice. That's like a tenth of 1% of the population that believes that. Everybody else is like, you're an idiot. Basically, that's what's going on with the Confederate flag. The only problem is there's a lot of people like my buddy here that thinks that there's just this force holding you down and it's because of white people. Now, there has been some horrible things happen to black people in this country. I'll admit that. You've had slavery, obviously. Then you had during the time of the civil rights. During those times, you had Jim Crow laws and all that was holding black people down. And in that time, white people got all the wealth. I get that, okay? But that being said, this is America. You can be whatever you want to be. If you think that I'm stopping you, or any white person is stopping you, you're an idiot, because you're an American, and you can do whatever you want. There are black people in all walks of life. We have a black president, for God's sakes. That means more than half of the country voted for the guy. He's an idiot, and more than half of the country voted for the guy. So that should tell you something, okay? That being said, there are black people in all walks of life. I have had black supervisors in the military and almost in every job I've ever had. Saying that tells you, hey, they're above me, I'm white. What's that tell you? If you want it and you strive for it, you can achieve it. Yes, there's some racists out there, but here's a news flash also. There's some black racists against white people. I know because I've experienced it, especially when I worked at a prison. If I would pat a white guy down, I'd pat 27 white guys down, and the one black guy that walks up, I'd pat him down, and what's he do? He pulls the race card. Says I'm patting him down because he's black. Even though I just patted down 26 white people, he doesn't care. I'm patting him down. His problems in life are because of a white guy. That's instilled in them to use that. Well, I have a lot of friends, like I said before, that are black that they don't do that. It's not an issue because they either A, don't talk about it, or B, they make it a humorous joke, like it's just a back and forth banter, okay? That right there is why the military is usually extremely good at race relations, because you take people from all walks of life, every color, every creed, you put them together under stressful situation. No one cares what color you are, no one cares what your background's been. If you respect me, I'm going to respect you. That's what has to happen for America to be fixed. The problem with that is this, especially the younger generation. I'm not picking on the people that try and the people that have morals, because when I was that younger generation, I used to hate for older people to say, "Oh, it's the younger generation." Well, in a way that was true, but it's not everybody. I get that, but no one really gives respect anymore. Everybody's out for themselves. No one really has moral ties as much anymore. No one's connected to community or church or anything like that because of social media. They go after their own wants, their own needs. Hang on, I'm getting a phone call. Let me hang that up. Hey, let me call you back.
I love you.
Bye-bye. So everybody goes after their own wants and needs and so on and so forth because pretty much social media has broken that connection that people have with each other. So if I'm not in your constant life, you don't give me respect. That hardly ever happens anymore. That's a problem because that's just going to continue to fester and get worse and worse and worse as time goes on. People can make you look like a bigot, especially on social media, because if I say something that goes against the norm or against the popular, everyone's just going to bash you. Like on the comments section, the Twitterverse will light up every liberal. You know what I'm talking about. You know, they try to attack you with their point of view. Try saying anything that's controversial and see if you don't just get someone just slamming you. The problem with that is most conservatives tend to try to be somewhat respectful. Now I say most, there are some idiots out there, I get it. But so there's not as much back and forth banter as should be happening because there's not respect anymore. It's just people calling each other idiots back and forth on social media. At least that's what I've seen. You may have seen something different. Maybe you have, I hope so, but that's what I've seen. So what happens is there's no respect anymore, so people are just saying what they want and bashing each other, and it's not going to fix itself until people learn to have respect and love and compassion for each other. So going back to our original topic, this guy, everything he posts is just filled with just constant hate. And I worry about him because, like I said, at one point I would have considered him my brother. I don't know what's going on in his life for him to have so much hate. But every single post, he's become really racist against white people. Every single post almost that he makes is just something of some white guy doing something stupid. You know, some white cop killing a black guy or something like that, and he just jumped on that bandwagon. Well, the problem is I could do the same thing. I could get on Facebook all day long and find where a black person killed a black person or a black person killed a white person. I could do that stuff too, but the problem is, first of all, that makes me look racist and get in the same boat as him. Second of all, everyone else that sees my status doesn't know this side conversation's going on. They think, wow, Mouse has all of a sudden flipped his shit and he's going off the deep end sort of thing. But he doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand that the people that are arguing with him and talking to him and saying this is wrong, you've got a very twisted sense of this, which I get that there's going to be back and forth banter. I get that there's going to be arguments, especially him being black and me being white. I can't see it from his point of view. It's impossible. And he can't see it from my point of view. It's impossible. All I can tell him is, white privilege is basically just taking responsibility for something my ancestors did, which is BS, because the other side of that coin is no one even takes responsibility for what their own children do nowadays. Secondly, it's not fair and it's racist for you to say that some of the stuff that you say and then claim racism towards me. Well, on his side of the coin, he says you haven't been in my shoes, you don't know this type of life, you haven't experienced racism like I have. So all that can be left is some sort of respect, and the problem is that's gone. I don't know if I'm asking for advice. I don't know what I'm asking. I just kind of got to get it off my chest. I don't know how to help the guy. It'll eventually come to a point, I'm sure, where I'll have to delete it, or just he'll delete me from arguing with all his posts. But every time he posts something, like for instance, this guy that shot up the 4 Marines and that sailor that died this morning, he claimed, as soon as it happened, before the sailor even died, he says something about if it were a black guy, he'd be called a terrorist, and this guy's not even being labeled a terrorist, blah, 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 blah. I don't know anyone who hasn't labeled the guy a terrorist, but that's the post he makes, is something like that. If it was a white guy, if this guy shaved his beard, he'd probably get away scot-free. He just says stuff like that, and it's just, I don't know, it's just all filled with hate. Anyway, other than that, decent day at work. The machine I was on was crap, but whatever. I'm blessed to have a job. Enjoying riding home on the motorcycle instead of a car. But anyway, if you guys have some advice, especially what I really want to hear is from my black friends. I don't know if I have any here on YouTube, but how to talk to this guy. I know a lot of my black friends don't have this point of view, and if they do, they don't make it an issue so much. It's not so in-your-face racist, which this guy has become. I don't know, I'm sure someone did something stupid and he kind of latched onto that, but, it's America. Dust your shoulders off get back up, drive on with a mission, stop worrying about it, you know? There's always going to be idiots out there. Everybody knows that. I don't worry about idiots. I get pissed, you know, when they're being an idiot to me, and the rest of the time I try not to worry about it. Now, there's a lot of them nowadays, and our country's going, you know, on a different path than everybody I'm sure thought it would have 20 years ago or so. That worries me, but I don't know, that's a little bit off topic. That's for another day, but I don't know, guys. I'd just like to hear your opinion on it. Let me know what you think. But anyway, I'll get back to you as soon as I can with another video. Thanks for watching, guys.